الوهم وأكرمنا بنور الفهم وافتح علينا بمعرفة العلم وسهل أخلاقنا بالحلم وجعلنا مما يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. اللهم اجعل أعمالنا خالصة لوجهك ولا تجعل فيها حظا لغيرك يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك آمين. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. How's everyone? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Did some guys go to the bathroom? طيب. So we continue. I think we stopped in the middle of some. What's the last thing that we did? Ism Kana. This here is not the Ism of Kana. No. Okay. So I think we were going through the activities. So وما كان no وما كان ربك نسيا لو كان البحر مدادا لكلمات ربي ويخافون يوما كان. I think the last sentence that we did was number 10. Or the last we did was number 9. We yet to do number 10, right? طيب. So let's have a small recapitulation. So what we are discussing now is Kana, and we said that Kana, there's Kana, and Kana has its sisters, whether it's, let's look at some of them. Ma Kana, Laysa, Asbaha, Amsa, Zala, Mazala, Kada. These are all sisters of Kana. What do we mean when we say they are the sisters of Kana? We mean that they share the same grammatical phenomena, the same grammatical changes and laws that apply to Kana apply to these other words that are considered to be the sisters of Kana. Makes sense? Why do they call it sisters? I don't actually know. I'm just thinking about it now. You know, one of the phenomena of sisters, like in, I think about like in inheritance, they always share equally. They always share equally. They have the rule of the completion of 2/3 in sharing. And I don't know if you know anything about inheritance. No? They must teach inheritance here, inshallah, one day. I haven't learned inheritance in many years. طيب. So Kana will enter upon what type of sentence? Who remembers? A Jumla Ismiya. Kana will enter upon a Jumla Ismiya. What do we mean when we say Kana will enter upon a Jumla Ismiya? It will present itself before the Jumla Ismiya, right? And when Kana enters upon the Jumla Ismiya, two types of changes will take place. Isn't it so? A change in encasing and a change in meaning, right? So as for the change in meaning, then that sentence, which was a present tense sentence, will become a past tense sentence, right? Then a sentence, then also there will be a change in terminology, changing in terminology or grammatical change. So what was once the mubtada will now become the ism of Kana, and it will remain in halatul rafa. And what was once the khabar will now become the khabar of Kana, and it will be in halatul nasb. Will be in halatul nasb. Now, so let's say it again. The ism of Kana, when it will enter upon a Jumla Ismiya. When it enters upon a Jumla Ismiya, then two types of changes will take place. There will be a change in meaning, in that the sentence will become a past tense sentence, right? And there will be a change in terminology, in that what was once known as the mubtada will be known as the ism of Kana, and it will remain in halatu rafa. And what was once known as the khabar will now be the khabar of kana, and it will be in halatu nasb. Will be in halatu nasb. Like ar-rajulu tawilun. The man is tall. Kana ar-rajulu tawilan. The man was tall. That's our example. So then we said okay. For example, I need an example. I can't look these Quranic examples. You must remember that they are decontextualized, meaning what? This may very well be in the middle of an ayah. You understand? So, to answer your question, kana will always be at the beginning of the sentence for all intents and purposes. But that sentence could appear somewhere else. Remember, a jumla ismiya could be at the end of the sentence. Isn't it so? Why? Because a jumla ismiya could be the fa'il of a jumla fi'liya. Make sense? Kana must be understood in light of it being in front of a jumla ismiya, right? Whether that can occur in the middle of another sentence, that's very possible. That's very possible. But kana is connected to the jumla ismiya. That's the most important piece of information that you must have. Where that jumla ismiya finds itself is something else. Make sense? Does that make sense to you? For example, kana Zaid yal'ab. Zaid used to play. Zaid used to play. So what do you have there? You have a jumla ismiya, but you have another sentence afterwards. Yal'abu. Or now, what's the hal of yal'abu? It's nasb. But you can't see it. But you know that this is Ism Kana, Khabar Kana, and so basically the point that I'm making is that you only have to focus on the Kana in isolation. When any grammatical phenomena finds itself in a sentence, it could be anything. It could be muqaddam, muakhar, and as you have seen. So you need not worry about where the Kana is. When you spot the Kana, then you just have to find its elements, right? I don't know if that answers your question. I hope it answers your question. So let's go to example number 10. And I said to you that I will tell you like 2 or 3 things. What you would have come across them now in relation to Kana, and I think these are like valuable rules of thumb. When in relation to Kana, when Kana comes in front of a simple sentence, a simple nominal sentence, then it will just be was. Right? Like what? Kana rajulu tawilan, kana al-baytu kabiran. That it will just be was. The house was big. But when kana is used with a present tense verb, then it will mean used to. Past continual, right? Kana Zaid yaf'al. Zaid used to do. Kana Zaid yal'ab. Zaid used to play. Kana Zaid yadrib. Zaid used to hit. No? So it will be past continual if it's used with a present tense verb. Do you get that? you can find those examples. Maybe you can go through your Qasas al-Nabiyin, you by Qissat Yusuf now. You will find 3 or 4, 5 examples of that in the beginning of Qissat Surah, of Qissat Yusuf. Right? Can you think of any? So you have, for example, Kana Yusufu waladan saghiran. Yusuf was a small boy. Simple sentence. Kana Yusufu waladan dhakiyan. Yusuf was an intelligent boy. Simple sentence. وكان يعرف. وكان يوسف يعرف. Yusuf used to know. Is that a sentence in it? No. Yusuf used to know. I'm thinking, كان أبوه يعقوب نبيا. His father was a messenger. وكان يعقوب يحب. وكان يعقوب يحب يوسف أكثر من جميع إخوته. He used to love Yusuf more than. So كان يحب. That's a present tense verb. كان يحب. He used to. You see that? So there's an example. Then, so when you use it, when it is connected with a simple sentence, it will just be was. When kana is used with a present tense verb, then it will be used to. No? So those are 2 rules for you. The third rule is when kana is used with the lam, then it will mean the lam, la or li. Then it will mean have, to have, had or to have. For example, كان له 11 أخا. كان له, there was for him. That's literally. But if you want to take a shortcut, you just say had. كان له, he had. وكان له أخ آخر من أمه اسمه بنيامين. And he had another, right? So now, so when you use kana with the lam, then it means to have something, right? Those are 3 rules of thumb that because when you're reading and you see that lam, then it's like there was for him, and to bypass all of that, you can just say had. Type. So those are 3 rules of thumb in translation. You will see them, inshallah, if you take some time over this week, over the next week, to go do some revision of your Qissat Yusuf, then you will find it to be very clear, and you will find these rules of thumb to be quite consistent. And obviously, as you know, a rule of thumb is not a technical rule. It's يقبل التخلف. It can be disproven, right? But in most instances, you can use the rule. That's the nature of a rule of thumb, right? طيب. So, لو كان البحر مدادا لكلمات ربي. Who will translate this for us? Yes? Yes? Nope. It must be kana la. Like that. If the seas was ink for the words of my Rabb, or for my Lord, right? So where's the Ism Kana? Bahr. And the khabar of Kana is? What's the khabar of Kana? midadan. The khabar of kana is midadan in halatul nasr, right? So you have the law kana al-bahru, if the ocean was midadan, ink, li, for kalimati, the words of Rabbi, my Lord. Next sentence, وَمَا كَانَ رَبُّكَ نَسِيًّا. So let us go back to our sisters of Kana. They note this as one of the sisters of Kana. Look there on page number 15. Ma kana, was not. Ma kana means was not. And as you can see, that is just the ma nafiya doing its work over there, isn't it so? It's just the negating ma doing its work. طيب. So, وَمَا كَانَ رَبُّكَ نَسِيًّا. We'll translate this for us from the males. And your Lord was not forgetful. And your Lord was not forgetful. Where does this verse come? Surah Maryam. وَمَا كَانَ رَبُّكَ نَسِيًّا. Yes. Okay. So where's the ism of Kana? Rabbuka. And where's the khabar of Kana? Nasiyan. Nasiyan, forgetful. Right? وأصبح فؤاد أم موسى فارغا. وأصبح فؤاد أم موسى فارغا. Right. So here you have a sister of Kana, Asbaha. Right. So what's the ism of, okay, we'll translate it first from the ladies. Excuse me? Excellent. And the heart of the mother of Musa became empty. So that's it. Fu'adu ummi Musa. You see that's a double mudaf mudafun ilayhi. Where's the ism of Asbaha? Where is it? Fu'ad. Right? Or if you want to, Fu'adu ummi Musa. Right? The heart of the mother of Musa. And where's the khabar? فارغة. فارغة empty. نعم. وما كان الله معذبهم وهم يستغفرون. وما كان الله معذبهم وهم مستغفرون. Yes. No. أصبح has two meanings. One is enter into the morning, and the other one is to become. So asbaha can either mean to wake up or to enter into the morning, or it can mean to become. Make sense? I think it's there in your notes. Should be there. Asbaha became or enter into the morning. Right? طيب. وما كان الله معذبهم وهم يستغفرون. One of the males. Excellent. And Allah will not punish them whilst they seek forgiveness. So if you want to translate it more technically, you could say, and Allah was not a punisher of them whilst they are seeking forgiveness. And Allah was not a punisher of them whilst they are seeking forgiveness. But if you want to contextualize it, and Allah will not punish them whilst they seek forgiveness. All right? So where's the ism of Kana? The word Allah. And the khabar of Kana? Mu'adhibahum. Mu'adhib. And that wow is obviously wow haliya. You know about wow haliya? You know about wow haliya? No? No, no, wow haliya. Okay. Wow haliya is you have different types of wows, isn't it so? So the most common wow that you use and you know about is called wow al-atf. Wow al-atf. Ain, yarhamukallah. Ain, ta, fa. Wow al-atf. Wow al-atf is the conjunctive wow. The conjunctive wow. It is the wow you use to connect two sentences grammatically or two words grammatically. جاء زيد وخالد. That's the one wow that you know. Another wow that you would have learned would have been the wow that you learned whilst you were learning the huruf al-jar. That will be wow al-qasam. Wallahi. That is the wow of oath. Right? By Allah. Wal asr. By time. Right? So that's the other wow that you know. It's a harf jar. You know that wow, right? Remember that wow? Yes? I see confusion in the faces. Do you remember that wow? Okay. So that's the second wow that you know. The third wow, maybe is this wow that I'm introducing you to now, is called wow haliya. The wow of, you can use one of two words, the wow of condition or the wow of circumstance. Right? And this wow will be translated as while or whilst. This wow will be translated as while, whilst, and it will be used in a sentence to indicate the condition of a doer or doers when an action is taking place. So sometimes you'll find a wow there and you realize that this wow doesn't actually mean and. This wow doesn't, like and doesn't, I can translate it as and, but it doesn't quite fit, right? For example, one of the surahs that have come to pass with you already would have been Tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tab. You studied that surah, isn't it so? So you say Tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tab. Ma aghna anhu maluhu wa ma kasab. Sayasla naran. He will burn in a fire. Dhata lahab, possessing flames. Wa mra'atuhu, whilst his wife حمالة الحطب is carrying firewood. Right? So this tells you the condition of his wife whilst he is being burnt. Right? So scholars differ. Some of them say this is wow isti'naf. This is a wow of introduction. But other scholars will say this is wow haliya. So you translate it as whilst. I can't think of, no other examples come immediately to mind of this whilst. أما من من is it من عمل صالحا وهو مؤمن. وهو مؤمن. This verse comes when Allah says وهو مؤمن, and you'll translate and he is a believer, but the translation is actually whilst he is a believer. So Allah is speaking about the condition of the person whilst they are acting. Make sense? And sometimes this, then sometimes it says لما تكفرون لما وأنتم تعلمون, as the verse comes in Surah Baqarah, وتكتمون الحق وأنتم تعلمون. وتكتمون الحق وأنتم تعلمون. كتم يكتم means to conceal. وتكتمون الحق, and you conceal the truth. وأنتم تعلمون. So you can translate it as and you know, but the more correct translation is whilst you know, meaning the condition that you are in when you are concealing the truth is that you know the truth. وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. So that's how wow haliya is used. So you can watch out for the wow haliya when you're translating the wow of condition or the wow of circumstance if you want to. Right? So those are three wows for you. The most common one is the conjunctive wow, wow al-atf. It joins two sentences or two words in grammatical meaning. Then you have wow al-qasam, that will normally come at the beginning of a surah, like wal asr, right? Wan najmi idha hawa. All of that is the wow of uth. qasam with a qaf. Qasam, yes, with a sin. That's correct. Atf. Ain taf. Ain tafa. Ain tafa. Atf. The conjunctive wow. Ain tafa. Atf. The conjunctive wow. It's haliya with a ha. Ha alif lam ya. Haliya. Right? The conditional wow. You got all that wows? Fine. There's more wows, but the other wow, as I give you a last one. Number is 3 enough. I'll give you the fourth one. There's more wows. But another important wow is that sometimes in the middle of a sentence, in the middle of an ayah, right? Or in the beginning of another ayah, you get a wow. And now you're like, the Quran always joins sentences and, right? Walladina, walla, but you get a wow called wawul isti'naf. Wawul isti'naf means the introductory wow, or the wow of beginning. And the wow of beginning is to the Arabic language what the capital letter is to the English language. Make sense? Now, so sometimes you have a full stop and a capital letter in the Quran, but you cannot see it. It is represented by the wawul isti'naf. It's represented by the wawul isti'naf. So you see a new verse starting with wow, you don't have to translate it as and. That wow could simply perform the function of a new sentence, the capital letter in the English language. So wow al-isti'naf is in the Arabic language what the capital letter is in the English language. Make sense? Isti'naf with a hamza. That would be the alif, sin, ta, hamza, noon, alif, fa. Isti'naf. Maaf, I'm inundating you with wows now. So these are 4 important wows that you will come across, and in the journey of tafsir you will see that the nuance of the wow changing all the time, right? So sometimes, most of the time, if it's in the beginning of the surah, it will be that wow al-qasam, the wow of oath, wad-duha, wan-najmi idha hawa, wal-asri. So wal-asri, wad-duha, wan-najmi, all of that is wow al-qasam, and you can see that that is one of the harf job. Then you have the conjunctive wow, the wow that joins. You will find that the word that is being joined will have the same hal as what it's being joined to, right? That's wow al-atf, the conjunctive wow. Then you have wow haliya. Wow haliya, technically the sentence afterwards will be nasb, but don't worry too much about that. Then you have waw al-isti'naf. Waw al-isti'naf will just have the mubtada in halatu rafa. The mubtada in halatu rafa. So one of the signs of waw al-isti'naf is that you have a wow. There's a sentence before, but the word after the wow doesn't follow the grammar of the previous. Now you must start to think, maybe this is the introductory wow. It's actually the beginning of a new sentence. Isti'naf. Make sense? طيب. Okay. Let's complete our examples. Oh, that's the last one. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Okay. So let's give an introduction to the new lesson of wow. So, or the new lesson of Kana. Ism Kana and its sisters advanced. And okay, it's advanced. Kana and its sisters, I'm reading on page number 17. Kana and its sisters are unique as they are verbs and therefore follow the same past and present tense verb patterns as shown below. However, they don't create a verbal sentence and are in fact a sign of a noun by sentence. We mentioned that to you before already, right? Meaning what? That in terms of the function of kana, then it functions as an assistant. It adds meaning to noun by sentences. But in terms of the form of kana, then it changes form like a verb. Does that make sense? That's what he's saying in all of this. Kana and its sisters are unique as they are verbs and therefore follow the same past and present tense verb patterns as shown below. However, they don't create verbal sentence and are in fact the sound of noun by sentence. So what is all this contradiction? In essence, what it means is that kana is not quite anything. Kana, in terms of its function, is an assistant to the noun sentence in that it gives it nuance in meaning. But in terms of its form, it acts like a verb. So it changes. Kana, kana, kanu, kanat, kanata. How's it? What's the I have no idea what the infinitive is. Afidna. Explain to us what's the infinitive so that we can decide whether or not kana is an infinitive. I don't know what the infinitive is. I've never, like, I just know kana. I'm just Googling it here. Hmm. Oh, I will have to read more on infinitives. My cursory glance of Google's examples here gives me a little bit of nuance of the idea of infinitive. I will read a little bit about the infinitive, then we can decide if kana is or is not a infinitive, inshallah. طيب. So this is simple. You have kana, you have kanu. As usual, yeah, they no na, but you know, when you add the alif, then it's due, right? So just like kana can go down the past tense scale, kana, kanu, kanat, kunna. Kunta, kuntum, kunti, kuntunna, kuntu, kunna. By now, you know the meaning of the addition of all of those syllables to the verb. Just like kana can go down the past tense scale, it can also go down the present tense scale. So it will be kana yakunu, right? Yakunu, yakununa, takunu, yakunna, takunu, takununa, takunina, takunna, akunu, nakunu, right? Right? طيب. أكون. And kana can also be a it can also take on the form of amr and nahi. Kun la takun. Isn't it so? Like Allah mentions in some place in the Quran, kun fayakun. Be and it is. Isn't it so? Sometimes Allah says, كونوا قوامين للقسط شهداء لله. Be قوامين, upkeepers بالقسط of justice. كونوا. So that is a command verb. Sometimes it can be a prohibition, like لا تكن. Allah says لا تكن للخائضين. How's it first? لا تكن للخائضين. No حفاظ. Me neither. Type. Do not be for the treacherous helpers, assistants, right? How else is Allah in the Quran? لا تكن ولا تك في ضيق. And do not be in constriction مما يمكرون, of that which they plot against you, right? So those are other examples of kana. Now, okay. So do the next exercise on page number 18, inshallah, so that you can practice now kana and laysa and that going into different verb forms. So we suffice ourselves for that. Is this class beneficial? Sometimes I see so much confusion in the eyes. I wonder if I'm just coming here every week and confusing you. طيب. If that is all clear, then we suffice ourselves with that. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.